Alright, so in today's video, I'm going to be giving you the best roamers on defense for the game of Rainbow Six Siege in Year 7 Season 3 Group Swarm. This is my second time recording this video, so hopefully it works. I'm tired as fuck, and that's about it. Let's get into the video. Alright, so the first operator I'm going to get into is Alibi. Alibi, I think, is S tier. She has a deployable shield, a bailiff, and a 1.5 with a really good weapon, and she brings information. So something that you have to understand about solo queue operators on defense is the reason that they are good is because they provide information and bring a lot of bulletproof utility, right? So not only does she do that, but she also has a bailiff for making site setup, and she has a great gun that's easy to roam with as a 3-speed. So very versatile, very easy to play, and very good when you do play her, and very easy to be good when you do play her. So very, very good in my opinion. Probably the best defender that you can be playing for solo queue ranked if you are an entry player. And that is why she's going to be at the top of my list, at the very top of S tier. Next is going to be Ella. Ella I'm going to put in the A tier. I want to kind of put her in the B tier. She's not that good, but the only thing really saving her for me is, again, she has information with her elements, right? But she also has a deployable shield. Now, deployable shields are extremely strong in the sense that they slow down attacker rushes by making them have to waste a lot of utility on you, but also you being able to get free gunfights and a lot safer gunfights from your perspective behind that shield. So that's already good. Plus she has S tier weapons, which makes her a lot easier to play. That is why she's going in the A tier for right now. Next is Valkyrie. Valkyrie, normally you would see me place her on the S tier, right? But for solo queue ranked, and the majority of the player base and the majority of people watching this video being in gold or being on a console, your teammates aren't watching those camps. Let's be honest, your teammates are not watching those camps. She is very good in the sense that she has 3 almost invisible cams that you can throw anywhere that give a lot of information, but also you can set up nitro traps with it, right? Because you have a nitro cell and you have an MPX. So already that automatically puts her in the A tier, right? But if you have a coordinated team or teammates that you can trust, or you're duo queued, then she's definitely S tier, for sure. But for solo queue ranked, I kind of want to put her in the A tier in terms of actual roamers. There are people that bring a lot more to the table and are a lot safer of a pick, like Alibi. So I'm going to put her in the very top of A. Putting her in S is also acceptable. I know that's where most of you would want to see her place, and that's where I would normally place her as well. Just keep that in mind. But for now, she's A tier. Melusi, I'm going to put in A tier as well. I think Melusi is arguably a little stronger than Valkyrie in the sense that she has information just like Valkyrie does, but her information is bulletproof until you actually walk into that information, and if you play off of your Melusis correctly, you can swing off of the information and get a free kill guaranteed every single time. Doesn't have a nitro cell like Valkyrie does, and the information is a lot easier to destroy than Valkyrie's is, but again, it requires bulletproof utility or you walking close enough to shoot it and then probably getting shot anyways. So in terms of who's a better operator, obviously Valkyrie, but who's better in solo queue ranked for roaming? Melusi for sure. Next will be Oryx. Oryx is definitely B tier. He has a bailiff, right, just like Alibi. He also has a 1.5 T5 SMG, very, very good, with proximity mines for that information. But in terms of his actual utility, for his primary gadget, he brings none. In terms of information, he only brings proximity mines, which you can bring on somebody like Wamai, or you can just bring Melusi or Valkyrie or Alibi or Ella and do that job a lot better. He doesn't really bring a lot of utility compared to other operators, and that's why he's in the B tier. For solo queue ranked, he's pretty nice if you know how to flank with him, but even then, you could bring somebody like Valkyrie, Melusi, or Alibi and bring a lot more for your teammates into the table that's easier to play around. So that's why he's in the B tier for now. Next is Thunderbird. Now, if this were console, top of S tier for sure, no doubt, but this is PC, so I'm going to put her in the B tier as well. Arguably above Oryx for sure. She has the Spear Silencer, very good gun, very easy gun to control, high damage, high fire rate, love it, right? 3 healing stations, good if you're on a bad team, but on PC it's a one-shot headshot game, so healing doesn't really matter at all. And on console, people have worse aim and worse game sense naturally because it's on console, so you can get away with making aggressive plays because you have healing stations that you can fall back to if the aggressive play doesn't work. That's why she's so good on console, because you can be aggressive with her, or if you just have her healing stations in general, but you can't do that on PC, which is why she's in the B tier. She does have a nitro cell, which is pretty cool, but other than that, she's kind of just alright compared to people like Melusi, Alibi, Valkyrie, or Ella. And then we have Cav. Cav is C tier. I don't really need to explain myself. In the lower elo on PC, or the lower elo on console for that matter, she's like S tier for sure, because people don't know how to counter her, people have terrible aim, and you can sneak up behind people with low game sense and low flank watch. but that's not the case gold and above. So she's just not good. She brings absolutely zero utility, no information unless you're getting interrogations, but that's only information if you're getting a kill, and that kill happens to be alone on attack, which is not often. So that's why she's in the C tier 4 now. Vigil, I'm going to put in B tier as well. I'm going to put him above Thunderbird and below Ella. So my reasoning for doing this is it's very cool that he can't get spotted by drones, but other than that, he brings fuck all utility for his team, and you can roam and get kills with people that bring more for the team and more for you for that matter, with people like Alibi, Melusi, Valkyrie, and Ella. So that's why I'm putting him in the B tier 4 now. I know a lot of people are going to get mad that I put Ella above Vigil or Thunderbird or Oryx for that matter, but you also have to understand, like I said, it's information, but the deployable shield. If she didn't have a deployable shield, I'd probably put her below Oryx, but that deployable shield actually saves her a lot. It's actually a very powerful secondary gadget, probably the most powerful one arguably in the game, other than EMP grenades now. So that's why she's in the A tier. Other than that though, going into Pulse I want to put in B tier as well. I'll put him below Vigil, above Thunderbird. So here's the thing about Pulse. Pulse is good no matter where you play him, in the sense that he has information that is uncounterable. He can see defenders through any surface and give an unlimited amount of callouts to his teammates. Here's the thing though, he's only situational. You can only play him viably on maps where you can play below the site or on the site and the site is below the map, right? So you're talking basement sites or second floor sites where you can play on the first floor, right? Stuff like that. He's very good on those because of below nitros, but that's only one kill. You're sacrificing an entire player to go play below when you could be helping site. Also, no utility brought to the team, right? So he only brings a nitro cell and the information that he brings. Now, if you're talking about solo queue ranked, if you're not constantly calling out all the time 24/7 nonstop, he's not that good, right? If we were talking about Pulse in general being an operator, I'd put him in A for sure, but in solo queue ranked, you got to think about the fact that you're not getting enough value on Pulse on your own compared to the people above her, much less for your teammates, especially if you're not calling out, which I know you aren't. So that being said, he's going in the B tier 4 now. Thorn I'm going to put in the B tier, and here's why. I did say that information and deployable shields is what made Ella an A tier operator, right? Thorn also has that, right? Information with her gadget, kinda, and a deployable shield. So the deployable shield is really the only thing stopping me from putting her in the C tier, because her gadget is dog ass. Her weapon is cool that it has a high caliber, but the fire rate is terrible, and she doesn't bring anything else. It's literally just that and a deployable shield. That is the only thing keeping her on B, is her deployable shield. I personally think she's extremely ass, unless you pair her with a Melusi or barbed wire or any gadgets like that. But the fact that you have to pair gadgets or know how to hide things extremely well to be able to play this operator, and you can't just pick her up for solo queue ranked and roam with her, is what makes her bad. She brings no utility for herself if you're going out on the roam and trying to play entry, and the only utility that she does bring for her teammates are the deployable shield. You can't even really count her gadget as information either because of the delayed charge, right? Like if there's a thorn trap on a staircase and there's somebody pushing the staircase, that thorn trap's only going to go off after they've already pushed where you are, after they've already left the staircase. So it's late information, not very useful, and that's why she's in the B tier. Next, I'm going to talk about Capcan. Capcan is an S tier operator for sure in terms of playing ranked in solo queue. So you have the ability to kill people without you having to get into a gunfight, right? That's extremely powerful. Even with nitro cells, even with grenades, you're putting yourself at risk by throwing that utility. With Capcan, you can put it down and get kills for free a lot of the time. Same thing with Frost, right? Like it's just so free to be able to do that, and that's why I'm putting him in the S tier. You can kill people, but you can also spread his Capcan traps around the map to get information on where people are, right? If you have 5 Capcan traps that are alone, separated on a bunch of different doorways, staircases, archways, etc., and if somebody hits the Capcan, it makes a loud explosive noise that you can hear across the map to know where the majority of the attackers are pushing from, right? 1.5 on his gun as well. The gun is extremely easy to control, and he has a nitro cell. Extremely easy to play, you get a lot of value out of him, and you cause a lot of panic in the attackers because they're having to check every single doorway, archway, window, anything like that. So S tier operator for sure. I definitely recommend you play Capcan on maps where he is viable. Jaeger, I'm going to put in the very, very tip top of A tier. So the reason he's not S is because a lot of the times if you're solo queuing in ranked, your utility as Jaeger isn't going to be well spent unless you're stratting, right? So you have a bandit trigger that you give all 3 ADSs to, you have a shield that you give all 3 ADSs to, but a lot of the times your teammates are going to die in the shield, over peek the shield, or the shield's just going to die, and it's not going to matter anyways, especially with EMP grenades being the meta. Using it to protect walls and bandit triggers like that is not as useful. So he is always great to have, in the sense that he can keep shields alive, but for solo queue ranked, but like I said, he has no information other than his barbed wire, which is a huge key in being able to be viable on solo queue ranked, but also no bulletproof utility, right? Unless you're talking about the bulletproof cam, but then again, no information because you don't have the barbed wire. The bulletproof cam is information, but you're putting it in sight, so what good is that information if you already know where they are because they're close to sight, right? It doesn't really make sense, but he's still a great operator nonetheless. If this was an actual operator tier list, it wasn't just for solo queue ranked, S tier for sure, no doubt, but for ranked solo queue, you're better off just playing Alibi or Capcan than you are playing any of these operators below. For that matter, I mean, you're better off playing Fragger in general on attack and defense than you are playing any support operator, because if you're in solo queue and you don't have reliable teammates, your intentions to get a wall open or to keep a wall closed may be good, but if your teammates aren't helping you out, then it's completely useless and you've essentially wasted an operator slot that you could have used a different operator for, right? Like if you're playing Thermite and the wall's closed and your teammates aren't helping you, that Thermite didn't do anything because you can't get the wall open anyways, right? So if you're duo queued, you have a reliable team, or your randoms are just playing reliably, then sure, obviously this tier list is void. But if not, if you're in solo queue ranked, if you're in gold and below, which is the majority of the player base of the game, then this is the best tier list for you. That being said, our last operator is going to be Mozzie. Mozzie I'm going to put in the A tier, below Valk and above Ela. So again, drone denial, but also setting up cameras that can move to S tier weapons arguably, and a nitro cell. So information, easy to play, drone denial, 1.5 on a gun that's extremely easy to control, but no bulletproof utility, which is really the only thing stopping it from being S tier. Oh, and one more thing, I don't know if I put Frost on the anchor tier list. If I didn't, she's S tier. If not, then ignore that. But yeah, Frost would be S tier because the secondary shotgun, the shield, the information with the traps, the 1.5 on her gun, and how easy she is to play, and how nobody looks for her traps, especially at ranked. With that out of the way, that's pretty much it for the tier list though. I know this is really scuffed compared to my normal videos and my normal tier list, but I have tried recording this video multiple times and it's very late at night and I have to record it tonight. So I'm just really tired. I'm sorry y'all, but it'd be like that sometimes. If you enjoyed the video, like the video if you liked it. My name's Alka. Sub the channel. I just got 800 subs, road to 1K, probably get it by the end of the month, and you could be a part of that. Like I said, sub the channel below. My name's Alka, and I will see you in the next one.